welcome to GT Time. I'm your moderator, Kyle Bossman, and joining us as always is our uniquely talented and knowledgeable panel, including Brandon Jones.
That's right.
Daniel Bloodworth.
Hello.
And in the super seat this week, Andrea Renee.
Hello.
You came into town just to do GT Time.
I did.
Just for us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, awesome to have you here. Oh, and of course, the lovely Ian Hink in the booth.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
That's all you're getting. Move on.
Yeah, clearly that's all we're getting. Andrea, the question for the person in the super seat on this rotation is, what is your most recent big mistake, and what did you learn from it?
I mean, could be a really big question, a really deep question, but the only thing I can keep going back to is that I finally downloaded Candy Crush. Like,
Now
I did it. Big mistake, guys.
What drove
Big
you
mistake.
to finally,
Don't
after
do it.
Like, it's been out for years.
Yeah.
What drove you to finally do this?
I was bored at an airport, and I had played as much Kingdom Rush as I could play for the day. And I was like, well, maybe it's not all that bad, because I saw a guy in the airport playing it on his iPhone. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll just download it, see what the hype is all about. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm in deep. This
you
is
got
bad.
crushed. I was going to guess like a really long food truck line or something. But airport will do it.
Yeah.
So wait, the guy you saw at the airport, did he seem cool or did he seem rich? Like, what made you see that and be like, oh, I should do that too?
Well, weirdly, he was like, I'd say like mid-40s, like in a business suit, like clearly like traveling for work of some kind, or just really flying to vacation swanky. And the reason why I thought about it recently was because my mom is playing it as well.
Oh, okay.
And so she was like obsessed with it, talking about how, she's got to get to like this like level 215 or something crazy, and I'm like stuck at level 38 or whatever, like really low level. So I was like, well, clearly there's some kind of strategy involved. There's a reason why King is as successful as they are because of this game, but it's a big mistake because it's like it's a rabbit hole that you need to go down. You don't need to go down. Don't go down that rabbit hole. Don't do it, guys.
So that is what you learned. The thing that you learned is that you should just not do it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So
everyone at home, don't even try it. Also, you may have noticed if you're watching this podcast, we're trying some new things with our monitors. None of them are going to work. Everything's going to be bad today. They are all falling asleep. It's just a monstrosity. But, we're trying to make this show nicer to a viewer so that you could like scrub through it. If you're like, I don't care for corrections, I'm skipping through it, then you'll be able to do that. Which is,
speaking of not caring about corrections,
which is a fantastic transition into corrections. Please begin corrections music, and I'm going to try this for one. There we go, corrections.
You've got a lot of weird ones in there.
do it. Yeah.
You want a high five for that?
Like you're correcting
Almost.
things this episode that I don't even know when
You
we
are
said
in
them.
control, Kyle.
Okay, so here, I'm going to try to get through them pretty quickly. First of all, we got to settle the Lolly Lule Lo. I'm going to read the wiki entry. This is on the Metal Gear wiki, okay? This is going to be it. Lolly Lule Lo was a term automatically substituted for patriots. Government and military officials and others under the Patriots' direct control were manipulated by nanomachines inside their bodies so that whenever they tried to say the word patriots, their mouths would actually form the words Lolly Lule Lo to keep the information secret. However, it is also thought that the term is simply trained into their operatives as known Patriot affiliates under their control, such as James Johnson, such as Revolver Ocelot, and Drebin 893, can talk freely to the Patriots. If you have a problem with that, go correct that wiki page. I don't want to hear about it unless you fix that wiki page.
Can I explain to Andrea why I have a problem with that? Really quickly,
No,
and I'll
go
find the
fix the
clip,
wiki
and I'll bring
page.
it up.
Okay.
That in Metal Gear Solid 4, Snake says to Meryl over the comms, Patriots, and she replies, Lolly Lule Lo.
Yeah.
Well, we hear Patriots, but she didn't, so why do we hear it?
No, Meryl's
Fourth
just...
wall.
No. She's just got more nanomachines in her than Snake does.
No,
Yeah.
that's not on the wiki for
I'm
sure.
not even entertaining this as a topic of conversation.
Okay,
so.
good. Moving on.
PlayStation 4 Remote Play does indeed work at 60 frames per second somehow. Don't wait. We got to keep rolling.
But that's
what?
not a correction.
Yes, because I said
it
there's
was
no way it does. I said there is no way that works, and in fact it does work. Final Fantasy X HD is coming, so there is a PS2 game that's going to be on 8th gen consoles.
Yes.
Pikmin 3 had a long demo where progress carried over. I said Miyamoto would never allow anybody to play his game for 2 hours without paying. He did in fact do that. Oh, and okay, here we got to read the God of War timeline. This is from Tank59. Put a lot of work into this. In 2009, God of War Collection released. That includes God of War 1 and God of War 2, remastered in HD. Also had a demo for God of War 3. That was $40. In 2010, God of War 3 was released. That was a $60 release. In 2010, also God of War Ghost of Sparta released on the PSP for $40. Then in 2011, God of War Origins released. That includes God of War Chains of Olympus and God of War Ghost of Sparta, remastered in HD. That was $40. 2012, God of War Saga released. This includes the same remasters from God of War 1 and 2, released on the God of War Collection and God of War 3, and their same remasters of God of War Chains of Olympus and God of War Ghost of Sparta. That cost $60. And then in 2013, God of War Ascension is released, and that was a $60 game.
The God of War Saga is the purchase there, man.
That's
Look
the
at that.
purchase.
That's what you got to get.
That's the value.
Wow.
And then finally, this one came from Moonshine. This is something I was in the button remapping on the update for PS4. I was kind of dismissive about it.
Yeah, you were. When I watched the episode from last week, I was like, that was like the bulk of the update.
I wish I'd known
really
that before I
big.
started playing Bloodborne.
And it wasn't just the button remapping. They also allowed you to change certain colors and shading in the menus for people who have colorblind issues.
This is exactly what Moonshine brought up. You're right. This feature is extremely beneficial for gamers who have disabilities in muscles or hands, or who have only one hand. This update allows these players to enjoy games with more comfort. You're right. Why would I be dismissive about that? That's incredible.
Because you're insensitive.
Yeah. And corrections music. And let's see if we can do this. We're moving on to our first item. Nintendo Direct happened yesterday, on April 1st. Oh boy, it's been a long week. It feels like last week.
April 1st, not a good day to actually announce news.
Everybody
it was
should
a bad
take that day
idea. But Japan.
I went through all my email last night. I'm like, is this real? Is this real? I don't know. Which are your announcements? And then people will do the disclaimer, this is not an April Fool's prank. And I'm like, I don't actually believe you. For looking at what you're telling me, I don't believe you. So, okay.
Yeah, what a dumb day. What a dumb, stupid holiday. I love it, though. It's just a stupid day of the year that everyone's a weird weirdo. I'm like a little okay with it.
Yeah,
No,
you
I'm
did
not.
a
Not
prank.
at all.
It's just me.
I'm
did a
I'm way
prank.
down. There was so much hate yesterday for April Fools. It's just one day out of 365 that we can just not take something seriously. Just one day.
Well, I just think that there's so few people who pull off a successful April Fool's that it actually works, because you're so on edge looking for it now that everything you see, you're like, that's not real. It's got to be an April Fool's. And I don't think I saw one thing yesterday that I was like, oh my gosh, maybe that's legit. Did you see the Selfie Shoe? That was the closest thing to potentially being as dumb as a real thing could be. Essentially, it's a shoe that has a slot in the bottom of it for your cell phone, so you can put your foot up in the air and take a photo of yourself with your shoe.
That's an actual product. You're right, because that one could sell. 100% that
Right?
could sell.
Exactly.
Though you're keeping your phone in your foot all day. That is weird. I guess you're
No,
extra
you
one.
just put it in there when you're taking the photo and then you take it out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I said, what if I'm wearing a dress? Then no shoe selfies for me.
Yeah. Well, you could be alone. You could be out in the wilderness in your dress, and then nobody cares.
In
right?
heels. On a hike.
in my shoe selfie heels.
Before we do talk about this Nintendo Direct, I want to talk about something that happened before it, which I think is still bigger news.
Oh, right.
Zelda for Wii U was delayed 7 days ago. That's huge. That was a big deal. Brandon shrugs his shoulder like it's no big deal.
I saw that coming a mile away.
Are you kidding
too?
me? Come
Really?
on.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
I will say I did not see them pulling the game from E3. Even if they're going to delay it, I thought for sure that they would at least show something. But saying we're stepping out of E3 with Zelda, I think is a huge mistake.
Because we've had Zelda trailers that have come out before that you then get the game and you kind of look back at that trailer and it's like, oh, they changed a lot. That boss looks a little different and they tweaked this and there. And so just show us something. Just show us. You obviously have more than you're showing. Show us that, even though it's not exactly what the game's going to be. It's just get us. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah,
Just
if
back
you
out.
actually go back and you look at the early Twilight Princess stuff, I'm just like, this is just some really random test area that doesn't exist at all.
But I think developers are maybe afraid of that in a way, because it's the damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of mentality. Oh, the fans want to see something, but then if you put out something that's different than the thing they already saw, look what happened to Watch Dogs, right? So they showed this amazing presentation at E3, and then 2 years later, the game finally comes out, and people crucified Ubisoft for that, So it's maybe Nintendo is doing the right thing by not showing it.
They probably are. I think it's a huge sign that it's very far away, though. That's, I think,
Yeah.
the sucky thing. That means it's probably more than a year away.
Fall 2016? Early 2017?
Hopefully. Yeah, exactly. You know, I think the way that Aonuma was speaking, he said, we're finding new possibilities in what we can do with this game.
Does that mean NX?
I think it might be, right? Because where are those new possibilities coming from? You've had the Wii U for 2 years now. Probably 3 because they
More
had...
than that, yeah.
Right.
Think of all the R&D they did for it.
So, like, what popped up? Give us a hint.
I feel like it's not really technology focused. It's more just, again, how they were trying to redo the game design of how that works, and they probably, saw something in there that let them change things across the entire map. And it's like, okay, this is going to take longer than, just a tweak here and there.
Open world co-op Zelda.
Oh, co-op would be actually interesting.
Nintendo is notoriously bad at online multiplayer, so maybe this is like the thing that they're like, we could add something really cool in and do multiplayer in an open world game and do it right. You think it's possible?
It's very optimistic.
That's very optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about optimistic, but I think it's a little outside of the box.
I mean, really, the only game we've seen it in so far is Monster Hunter, right? Unless there's another one you guys can think of.
Oh, like
Wii-
in that
on
side
Wii U.
of Wii U. I mean, their online for Smash has been better. If
But
you're
that's
doing
not an
one-on-one.
open world game.
Right, obviously. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what they're doing on. Even like Monster Hunter worked. I mean, but it wasn't.
Nintendo didn't make that game.
Right. Yeah, great point. Again, great point.
But yeah, I mean, I think, in terms of whether it could come to NX, I think it could very, very much be in the Twilight Princess situation, to where, like, even if NX is a ways off, like, it could be a game that comes off on both.
I think Nintendo needs to launch their new hardware with something huge.
And this would
They
be
have
it.
to. And this could be the one thing if they're not going to wait and do the next, like, 3D Mario. With the new console, I mean, you have to imagine that we haven't had one in a long time now. Like, Wii U still hasn't seen, I think, a standalone Mario title. I mean, Super Mario 3D World was great, but I mean, I think we need like Galaxy 3,
Yes.
right?
I just don't see what the rush is. I just don't see, I was not excited about that NX announcement at all. It's like, what? Why are you, we're not even close to being into this gen. Like, this gen hasn't really picked up at all. Like, I just don't understand why.
The rushes, I would say, Brandon, they just came off the Wii. They just came off being the big boys. And then they had this Wii U.
Right, that they rushed into. That they were like, we're the first in the next gen. And like, they're going to do it again. Like, they're like, going to come out with this little gimmick or something. And then like, here, like, the PS4 is just going to be killing it. And they're like, okay, that's cute, Nintendo. Anyway, business as usual. It's like, I don't need it. I don't need another Nintendo console for any reason whatsoever.
Yeah,
I need a Metroid. I need Star Fox. I need Zelda. I need the Galaxy 3 or some like.
But maybe they're
free-roaming,
realizing that
free-moving camera
the
Mario
power
game.
of the Wii U is never going to stack up to the power of the Xbox One or PS4. And if they want a hope of competing in this new generation, they have to do something, especially if they want to retain any of their third-party partners, right? So right now, the Wii U is all first-party, with the exception of a few select third-party games here and there. Like I think the standout last year was Bayonetta 2, but I mean, what's that game for 2015?
Right. And I mean, they even published Bayonetta 2. That
Right.
wouldn't have happened unless they put a ton of money into it. So
Exactly.
yeah, I see that, they're slipping. They could lose third parties altogether if they wait too long, I feel like, Brandon.
What if this console is them changing gears completely? Because they're not a part of the next gen cycle. They're not a part of the race. What if they're just finally admitting that and saying, we're going all Nintendo all the time. We don't need anyone else. This is our new thing. We don't need cycles. We don't follow the trend.
What do you imagine it as? What are you describing right now?
I don't know. It'd be like
The
some,
Wii, that's what you're describing.
Yeah, it'd
You're
be
describing
some
something
other
that's
thing.
groundbreaking and something people haven't seen. Like, I mean, the motion gaming we saw with Wii, like, revolutionized the console business. Like,
Yeah.
it really did.
Yeah.
And
So-
it's not concerned about power or frame rate necessarily. Like, it doesn't have to be a more powerful box than PlayStation. It's a Nintendo.
I still think that,
Yeah.
that vague NX announcement was really, not even really meant for the consumers. It was just like,
I don't think
don't worry, we're not pulling out of the console business kind of thing.
I don't think you can do
it's
that
going to
anymore.
come any sooner than, it normally would have.
I think we got too many podcasts on the internet now for people not to hear about the NX, not to hear about,
Right.
oh, Nintendo has a new console coming. I think it's probably a mistake to talk about NX so far ahead of time. But anyway, let's talk about this Nintendo Direct. That was all the pretext. That was everything leading up into this. And so this was going to be a 48-minute Nintendo Direct. This was going to solve all of our woes. We're worried about Nintendo. Now they have 48 minutes of stuff that's coming. Everybody, don't worry. Here we go. April 1st. Here it is. Amiibos.
Yarn, Yoshi, Amiibo. That's all that matters. They're so cute. I categorically just am not a fan of Amiibo. I don't think their functionality is good. I don't think Nintendo is making them a must-have item. But man, I want those yarn Yoshi.
I had the
Amiibos.
exact same thing.
Can I-
Even Ian?
Yeah.
Can I be on the other side of that?
Suit Samus and the Yarn Yoshi are the only one.
Yeah, be on the other side. What do you mean by that?
I'm not
What?
down. I don't like it
Why?
because it's way different. Because now basically
different. I
in the
don't like it.
cards, like now basically means like on Tuesday Amiibo are gonna look like this, and then a year later, oh no, they look like this. It's like, yeah, don't uniform those at all. You know, like don't need to like we're gonna announce an Amiibo that's this tall. And you're like, great, that'll fit on my
their
shelf.
functionality isn't uniform. Why should their models be?
Because it's a line of figures.
Right,
That
but
should
they don't.
all-
They already don't work right. So
Well, working right and looking right. I just imagine like having a row of Amiibo on the shelf and then getting this weird yarn one and putting it up and it like falls over and you're like, no, and it's all like plushy and like after like a year, like the yarn starts to like fall apart and it's just like, you know.
But I mean, are you going to be using the Amiibo functionally after a year? That's the question.
I don't think you're going to be using Amiibo
Right?
at all. But, yeah, so.
I mean,
but
this
that
is my
doesn't-
problem
yeah.
with Amiibo overall, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they also announced that there's Amiibo coming for Splatoon, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And they announced a bunch of other Amiibo stuff, but like at the end of the day, until you make the Amiibo necessary for gameplay in a way that, you know, you can't play this game without Amiibo, which they still haven't done really, then what's the point of Amiibo?
Well, I think the thing is what we're seeing is that the game functionality is just a perk, and everybody will eat these things up just because they are.
Collectors.
To cover third-party
Figures, yeah.
losses. There you go.
They are the new Beanie Baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, especially with these. We should describe them, these yarn Yoshis. It looks like the character. It looks like the character of Yoshi's Woolly World. He looks like he's made of yarn.
It's a plushy Amiibo.
Yeah, and he's just got a little sewn-in Amiibo chip in his butt. And you just plop your little Beanie Baby
Yeah.
onto your Wii U
Well,
gamepad.
the cards for Animal Crossing though,
Yeah.
that actually goes back to, you remember the original Animal Crossing for GameCube did the same thing. You bought the collectible card packs for the e-reader, and there was all these little extra things that you could unlock just with the cards.
This is extremely different because this is the entire game. These cards. These Amiibo cards.
Well, you mean the characters? I think that the game probably works without a card of some kind.
I think that, well, the way the game was described, it's called Animal Crossing.
Happy home designer.
Thank you very much, Brandon. How do you retain that? How do you, who doesn't care about this at all?
Because we talked about this on GT Live yesterday, and we couldn't come up with a name, and so
Yeah.
I knew it was home designer, and then you
Yeah.
came up with the happy. So I'm
Happy
like, all
home
right,
designer.
boom, it's in there.
So what this game is you've stripped all of the game out of Animal Crossing, and it is now just moving around furniture inside of a home. The
You're,
cards,
you're
exhilarating.
locked
Yeah.
inside of the house. The houses are prisons.
Yeah.
You just warp between them.
well, the way you get a house is you scan your little Amiibo card.
Yeah.
And then that person's like, I want this in my house. And then you're like, okay, I'll just put this in here. Do you like it? And they're like, yes. And then you scan another card to get another person to walk into the house.
I just like the voice you were using.
He used it yesterday. Don't be too excited. He prepped that one.
That's my particular Animal Crossing
He
voice.
looked at himself in the mirror this morning and practiced. Like, that wasn't off the cuff, okay? Let's not pretend for a second.
Don't give Kyle any credit.
Yeah, I mean, it's the thing. It's like I'm familiar with the card functionality. I'm not
Yeah.
at all excited about the game.
And you and I love Animal Crossing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no.
It's like Animal Crossing is going too much towards The Sims, you think?
Yes.
Well, it just doesn't even feel like it doesn't feel like a game to me. It feels like an app.
It feels like an app. That's
Like
a really good description.
like the one that they put on the Wii U, the little plaza thing with the tree in the middle, and it's like, oh, you can see all of your Animal Crossing characters in HD, and it's like, okay, that's cool for like 5 minutes, and then you never need to go back to it.
Yeah.
What it feels like is a money making scheme.
That too.
That's all it feels like.
That's a lot of this stuff.
For
which-
Nintendo?
Yeah.
Well, they need all the monies. Nope.
Which leads to the
Which leads to the Animal Crossing track and Mario Kart. That's what you were talking about, right?
no, I was talking about the Mi Plaza thing.
Oh my gosh.
VIP room.
$4.99 for each of those like Me games?
See, I love
Is
the
it
Mii
supposed to be a
games.
deal that you get both of them for $7.99?
Yeah, it's still, you're right, very expensive if you compare them to mobile apps.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But the VIP room is not even a game. This is what this is, everybody. This is a special room that you could put special friends in. You can pick up to 100 special friends and you put them in your VIP room, and then you always know where those are.
Speaking of airports,
never
it's like the
lose them.
special clubs at an airport. You know, it's like gotta.
This is a file folder.
And what is it?
$5 for a file folder on your 3DS.
I didn't even think about it that way, but that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and it's called like premium. It's oh my gosh, it is absurd. It also allows you to track birthdays for every single meeting
Yeah,
that you
you
run
know
into.
what?
Google
Facebook-
Calendar does that too.
Yeah.
Facebook has made birthdays meaningless for everyone. There's just like this annoying notification on your phone. It's like, how do I turn this off?
Imagine if Facebook asked for $5 to keep track of birthdays. That is what this is.
Give it time.
Give it time. It's coming. It's coming. I want to wrap up Amiibo though by talking about if you think it's smart, if you think Nintendo should double down on Amiibo, or if you think it's gotten a little absurd.
I think it's gotten absurd, and I think they should double down. They're
Okay,
both.
sure.
I mean,
It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I-
they're clearly successful.
I own
right?
a lot of Skylanders. I own every single Infinity figure except for the crystal ones, and I don't own any Amiibo, and I'm so excited that I don't. I'm so happy that I'm not in that because it just to me it's Skylanders and Disney exists in a realm of, to me, of creativity and marketing. I can appreciate it for both things. It's like, ooh, I see what you did there to create demand. Good call, Activision and Disney. And oh, isn't this great? Isn't it fun that it actually like it lives in this world? And I see the creativity that went to that. I look at Amiibo and see marketing. I see nothing creative about it at all. It is literally just pure marketing.
Yeah, it's like Andrea said. It needs to be a game that requires them, not just a game where they're additional or they're even holding things back. Like in Splatoon, there's like things that you can't get unless you have the Amiibo, which is absurd to me. Blood, you like Amiibo? You like what Nintendo's up to right now?
I mean, give and take. As I've said before, that like their select Amiibo that I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the Yoshi one and the Ganondorf and Olimar.
Wait, why? I'm gonna ask why
I
you
just
looking
like
for
those
the
things. Like that's the thing. Like again, the whatever functionality is a perk. Like the Captain Toad thing I tried out the other weekend, and like this is just annoying to like have to tap Toad on every single chapter page to then go into the level again and just find Toad and tap on the screen.
Yeah, I mean definitely an afterthought in that case.
But I think that some of those figures, I like the look of them and the build of them, and that's about I think what most people are going for. What I think is kind of dumb, like again, they spend all this time showing, here's Ganondorf and Olimar and stuff, and then I look in September. Why do I need to know about a figure that's coming out in September, 6 months from now?
Pre-order.
Amiibo hype in you can pre-order Amiibo.
That's the problem. Is
Yep.
you can't get things unless you're pre-ordering them, or you're going to Best Buy. It's like I just want it without a hassle.
You can't have that. You can't
I
have that.
also love the shout out. I love Trennan, being like, oh, we're gonna have more Martha Amiibo, so get out there and go get them.
Your
Like it was like a
second
dare.
chance. He did.
It's like
He said, "Don't miss out on
good
your
luck."
second chance." Exactly. Andrea, do you like Amiibo?
I said at the beginning of this that I don't like Amiibo.
Right.
I'm a die-hard Nintendo fan. Like Super Mario Brothers was my thing forever. Like it was the game I started playing games on. I still play all of the Mario games. When they first announced Amiibo, like I looked at that Peach Amiibo, I was like, I need to have it. But then I was like, no, I don't, because first off, the designs aren't that great. I'm saying it. Yes. They're not that great, especially when you stand them next to an Infinity figure. Like it does not compare in quality as far as a collectible toy is concerned, and the functionality just isn't there. And I don't even remember the last time I picked up my Wii U gamepad, because when I play on Wii U, it's rarely with the gamepad. It's usually with the Pro controller.
Yeah.
So it's just like I don't need these. But like I said earlier, that Yarn Yoshi Amiibo may just be the thing that gets me to buy, because I love Yoshi. He's so cute.
They cracked
They're
us.
so adorable.
They are and they're like.
So I might have to get one or all three colors. I don't know.
It is
I
interesting.
don't know why they don't have 20 colors, man. Only 3. You stopped at 3? Again, I was like, wow, way to hold back, Nintendo.
The other colors will come. That's 3 is the starting.
Well, there'll be a 4th. There'll be a completer color.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Like black Yoshi.
I think it is worth mentioning really quick. That game was delayed till fall in the U.S. Probably.
I missed that.
Probably because Zelda got bumped, and that's pretty frustrating. The idea of delaying a game just to pad out a schedule as opposed to like make the game better.
Do you think that that's why they did it?
I do think that's why they did it because apparently it's still coming out earlier in Europe.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So exactly. That's
I hate
nasty.
that regionalized stuff.
Yeah.
But I can't really. I shouldn't say that because here in the States we get pretty fortunate with releases a lot of the time. So sorry, world friends.
Yeah, imagine like our Australian podcast. If we live in Australia,
They hate us.
We're talking about games from 3 months ago. Yeah, that would. Oh man, and their games are so expensive. I always have such feelings for Australia for some reason. I do want to talk about the things that made me happy. It wasn't all bad news. Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem is real and it had a huge trailer.
None of us recognized what that
I was like,
Yeah.
what is happening on screen right now?
Yeah, I want to get your impressions. What do you think of that game? Do you think this is a big announcement?
It was such a flurry of, like, I even went back and watched it. Like, I don't know what to think of the game itself. I mean, it feels like it plays more like a Persona game than a Fire Emblem game from
Absolutely.
the battle screens I saw.
Yeah.
But, you know, the Fire Emblem stuff is, you know, because Fire Emblem in a way, it can be kind of plain and straightforward. You know, like it has a good art style, but it's not trying to do anything like really crazy high fantasy or anything like that. But like this is like very ornamental like characters and lots of extra details on them and that kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I have no idea what it's gonna play like. There's weird stuff in there that like didn't even feel like either game to me. Like where you see like with the girl randomly in her bra or something. Like what's happening?
That was a bad idea. That was within the first 5 seconds of the trailer. You just see like some girl stripped down to a bra and panties. I mean, maybe it was a good idea. I don't know. You know what's funny is so sometimes I'll go to YouTube because we're on posting all our videos on YouTube now, and I'll check my stuff. I'll check a final bossman, and you can see retention, and I wonder what the retention is. Like, I wonder if they gain or lose people during that moment of a trailer.
I think it's interesting. You talk about cross, and it's Tekken and what's something got crossed? What was
Street Fighter.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Pokemon too, yeah.
Oh, sure.
But
With Pokemon,
so
yeah.
to me, you know, I always think back of like the Flintstones meet the Jetsons meet the Flintstones, the Jetsons meet the Flintstones, and it's like you take these two properties and just slam them together. But like that's not what this is. This is like you kind of take or this is what it appears to me to be. That's kind of you take like the essence of both of the franchises and then make some weird new thing.
Yeah, in this case, a lot of essence of one and just a little pinch of the other one is probably really what we're about to see. So does that bother you?
I don't have a lot invested. Between the two, I would play Fire Emblem if I could play a Shin Megami Tensei game or Fire Emblem game,
Yeah.
just because I hear amazing things, especially Awakening on the 3DS.
I don't know. I think it's kind of encouraging though. It looks like a big RPG. It looks like something that a lot of money was invested in.
I mean, but how can you tell that from the trailer? It just looked like a music video to me. Literally, like I was watching it and I saw like a screen with a HUD and I was like, oh, is that gameplay? And then it was gone.
Yeah.
And then I saw a screen with another HUD and I was like, oh wait, more gameplay. No, gone.
Then some CG.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was almost all like CG or cinematics or whatever you want to call it. It didn't look like gameplay. So I didn't know what was going on. I don't know what kind of a game it's going to be. The screen's...
Brandon's
Oh,
distracted
there we
by my
go.
screen.
Came back.
Don't let that distract you. Imagine people listening to this, you know, as a podcast or on their drive to work, and they're just listening to us talk about Shin Megami Tensei, but then they realize that everyone sort of starts finishing sentences nervously, and they're like, "Is that screen still?" You gotta
You're
ignore
bringing
it.
more attention to it than I did, Kyle.
I gotta
You're
call
the
it.
one who started this conversation.
I calls them how I sees them.
Yeah. What I kind of, it almost felt to me in a way as if the Fire Emblem characters were being summoned into the Persona
I think
world.
that's exactly how
Yeah.
that works. Yeah, I'm very excited about this game. It might be
Definitely the best part of that stream. I mean,
Yeah.
a brand new game announcement, especially something that they talked about a while ago, is clearly the win for a direct. That's what you want, you know.
Yeah.
I noticed, like, it's funny. I noticed, like, because you and Damiani were commenting during the stream.
Yeah.
And whenever something would go to black, you know, and Damiani would say, "What's this?" I'm like, "They got him. That's it. That's what you want. You want that moment of like, okay, what's it gonna be?" You know. And so
That's the fun of watching something live. You're
Yeah.
right. That cut to black. You're 100% right, Brandon. I do want to move on. Let's talk about Halo 5. Got a release date this week. I'm sorry. I gotta call it out again. Every time I switch slides, Brandon looks back at the TV, smiles. He's really excited about what's happening here.
on me, I see it's quality control. I'm just
Yeah.
making sure everything's working right.
You're doing the telltale, I'm switching to a next slide voice pause, too. You're going, let's talk about Halo 5.
You're right. All right. So let me try that again, just for listeners.
Ian, can we add a sound effect, like a little ding, and now, boom, Halo 5.
I never want listeners to feel like they're left out. So I'm going to do another transition just for you, the listeners.
The next segment behind door number 2.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about Halo 5. October 27th is the release date for this game. Actually, a little later, traditionally, for a Halo game. Not probably something worth talking about. I guess what is worth talking about is hey, is this announcement of release date good news? Can we celebrate this?
And that they announced it during a TV show instead of at a gaming event.
Yeah, was it during
The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Oh, it was during Walking Dead?
Yeah, those
Oh,
trailers
crazy.
went one after another.
Nobody
Different-
watches that
different
show.
commercial breaks.
Especially gamers. What?
That is a big deal. You're right. That is a mass market, right? Isn't that? Is it? I'm not sure if it's still. Is it still the most watched show on cable? Walking Dead.
It's up there.
Yeah, I don't know for sure where Walking Dead stands, but I mean, I think that putting it on something like that, announcing it on television, that's basically saying this game is not going to get delayed, or it very much should not be, because you're putting that date out there for everyone to get burned into their brains.
Yeah, well, I mean, we saw the, multiplayer beta in December of last year, and that far out, I mean, we're talking almost a year in advance of the, retail launch. That to me means that they are in a really comfortable position where they're ready to show that much of the game, and we're probably going to see even more shown at E3, hopefully, a long section of gameplay from the campaign.
Right, which we've seen 0 of so far.
Yeah, I mean, these commercials basically are the most we've seen of it.
And they're live action. Yeah.
We've still seen nothing. It's actually very strange. If you haven't seen them, it's 2 different perspectives. Locke is the other guy.
Yeah, Agent Locke.
Yeah, Agent Locke, Master Chief. So when one of them, Master Chief's walking up to Agent Locke with his belly full of blood, he's like, "I'm gonna finish the fight." And then the other version is Locke walking up to Master Chief, like, "You didn't finish the fight." And so you're watching 2 different
Not quite that
perspectives.
way.
Yeah, exactly. But it's kind of cool. I think that's a neat hook. Did you actually like the campaign? Is my question for the panel. Brandon, did you like these?
Did I like the the trailer campaign?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I don't. I just have a bad perspective. You shouldn't ask me about this because I just don't care about Halo
But you're
anymore.
like the king of trailers.
Yeah, but it's I think I really don't have an opinion. I'm really just kind of lukewarm, okay, it's there.
Did you not watch them? Is that what's happening?
No, I did watch. There's 30 seconds each, I did make some time in my day to watch both of these trailers.
No, Brandon, I think it's interesting, even when you don't have an opinion. What did Halo do to lose you, man?
I'll tell you this. I think it's a weird ploy to be like, oh, remember this whole Halo series? Yeah, this other guy was there. It's like, no, he wasn't. You thought of that now. You didn't think of that a long time ago.
You're afraid
You
to
didn't
lie.
think of that before Halo 4, during Halo 4. You thought of it after Halo 4. Then now it's like, oh, let's add this guy to the campaign and pretend he was there the whole time. And then this new guy that you don't know, he's relevant. And it's like, he's not. I don't care. I don't care about Agent Locke. I don't know who this guy is. And they're like, oh, here's some more spots. Who is he? And it's like, I don't know. You haven't told me. So I don't
So
care
you
about
must
this guy.
be upset about the rumors that the majority of gameplay in the campaign is supposed to be from Agent Locke's perspective, not from Master Chief.
Considering it's a first-person shooter, I don't care in the slightest. 'Cause it's like, it's not. You're not looking at him.
Well,
so
then why do you have so much hate for Agent Locke if
I
you
don't
don't
have hate
care?
for him. I don't care.
Well, you clearly
And so
care. You're
I-
upset. You're visibly upset.
I question Microsoft's initiative to create these things and attempt to create an interest around this character that they have yet to explain.
So you didn't watch the series Halo Nightfall, because that was their big pitch with the Master Chief Collection. They said, listen, you buy the Master Chief Collection, we are going to put these terminals in the revamped Halo 2 that's going to provide narrative detail as to what's going to be happening in Halo 5, and if you want even more backstory to give you details about what's going to happen with the narrative in Guardians, you need to watch Halo Nightfall, this digital series we did with Steven Spielberg, right? That was the whole pitch for the Master Chief Collection. So clearly you just skipped it all.
Didn't work. I also haven't played Halo 4. The series just kind of fell off for me.
You didn't play Halo 4?
It just kind of fell off for me.
It was so good.
Halo 1 through 3 were really good and wrapped up and were great. And then when they're like, oh, now here we go and we're continuing more. It's like, I don't get the vibe that you're continuing this because, gosh darn it, we just got to tell the story. It's like, no, you just It's your biggest thing that Xbox has. You have to continue this.
I'm just gonna
343
disagree
has
with
to
you.
do something.
I
It's
thought
great.
343 did a fantastic job taking the reins over from Bungie, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with Guardians.
You know what's kind of sucky about Nightfall and even like Powers is these are things I feel like I should be obligated to at least watch, check out. All it takes is one meh. If one person says MEH, I will not look at it. And same thing for both of those things. You know,
I heard worse than meh about Nightfall.
I don't
Yeah.
know because I'm meh on Bloodborne, and you all are playing that. That's right, I
Well,
said it.
it's too late.
That's
If
right,
you
I
had
said
said
it.
the meh a couple months ago, it might have had an impact. But now we're all beasts now. There's no turning back.
I actually haven't met a human who's meh on Bloodborne. I've met people who are strongly opposed to it. Like no,
Yeah,
no,
they're
not for
either
me.
like, this is great or this is the worst.
Yeah, how are you mad on Bloodborne?
I mean, I don't want to derail our conversation. We can talk about it.
I love to derail. I really like to go on little side routes.
Why am I
We're
meh
gonna get on
about
Yeah,
it?
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
Oh, he's like not letting it go. Okay.
He doesn't let anything go.
I'm mad about it because there's nothing about the lore and the fantasy of that world that has grabbed me as a player.
I feel like we could talk later. We could talk about the lore. There's some good stuff in there.
Okay, you can
Yeah.
try
Well,
to.
it's the same
Yeah.
Halo argument. Like I'm sure Halo 4 is an interesting story. Like I'm sure there's some cool stuff going on there. It's just from an outside perspective, someone who hasn't played Halo 4, just looking at advertising for Halo 5, not really grabbing me.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing for me with Halo. I think there's two weird things. Number one is, yeah, this giant rabbit hole of Halo lore has never grabbed me. Like I have no interest in watching a Halo TV series or movie or anything like that. It's like, okay, I think there's a couple of those characters I like hearing them in my ear or whatever, and they resonate with me a little bit, but I don't want to find out all this expanded universe stuff. The other thing is it's just it's weird to me how big the marketing is and how early it is. And it's almost like Microsoft saying hey guys, we still don't have anything before Halo, so look forward to Halo.
I don't mind that at all. I think I wish there was a Zelda announcement and a huge Zelda trailer. Do you know what I mean? I think it's cool they're treating it like this. They're treating it like the Avengers, and it is their Avengers.
I mean, it's their tentpole
Right.
first-party exclusive. It's absolutely what they should be doing. And I've been a big critic of both Xbox and PlayStation for not having a tentpole AAA exclusive that gives gamers a reason to buy a next-gen console, right? Like, there still isn't a definite reason why you need to have an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4 right now.
Oh, I
That
mean,
game does
there's-
not exist.
there's
I mean,
Bloodborne.
Bloodborne could arguably be the first game for
Yeah.
PlayStation to be like, you need a PlayStation to just play this game. But, I mean, Xbox doesn't have that yet. I mean, there's been some good games. Like, I really enjoyed Sunset Overdrive. I've really enjoyed Forza. But, like, let's be honest, those games weren't necessary right now. You can play those after you get your Xbox One, and they're still going to be just as good games, but they weren't like, oh my god, you must play this now. And I think Halo 5 is that game for them.
See, look, our little side route tied right back into Halo 5. It was absolutely worth it. I was directing this the whole time. I do want to move on to, you're the one who started this conversation. This week, really, oh my gosh, I'm so happy somebody called this out. This is from Sleepmaster 9000. In episode 4 of GT Time, around 14 minutes and 27 seconds, a side bet was made between Michael Damiani and Kyle Bossman that the Amazon Fire TV would still be relevant next year. This episode was posted on the 3rd of April 2014. By the time the next episode, it would be a year. This person wants closure. And so I guess we have to decide now if the Fire TV is still relevant.
I would say yes. I would say it's definitely still relevant. Amazon is making a big play to do more development, both in video games, but also in original content. And I think that they're just getting started in both of those. I got the chance to see some games that were being developed specifically by Amazon Game Studios at PAX East, and all of them looked really great to me. And we haven't really seen them do a whole lot on the content side, but look at how well their show did at the Golden Globes, Transparent. It won a bunch of awards and really kind of put them on the map as a content creator, the way that Orange is the New Black put Netflix on the map as a content creator. So I think absolutely it's still relevant. It's only going to become more relevant as Amazon produces more stuff.
Well, the tricky thing is, so I did like a Google News search. Most people are talking about like the stupid little, it's like a Chromecast. You know, the Amazon Fire TV now is just something you can like USB plug into your TV. Do we still count the game console as that? You know, like last year they announced their little box, the $99 box, and you know, it had a video game controller and it launched with a bunch of trailers for games that looked miserable. They looked like mobile games, and you know, we were expecting a games console, and so that's how I have to like.
Were you expecting a games console for that price point? I mean, I was expecting Ouya, essentially.
So, Andrea, what happened was I was buying into rumors.
Oh.
Leading
you
into
shouldn't do
this.
that.
I was looking at who they were hiring, and I was like, oh my gosh, Amazon's going to do it. They're going to make their own Xbox. And so I let the hype get into me. And so when it was announced, I was actually very disappointed.
So how do you lose this bet again?
I lose the bet if people aren't writing articles about the Amazon Fire TV.
Okay, then no, they're not.
Well,
He's right. I mean, I did the news search, and they're not writing articles about it.
I mean, but like a news search, I mean, they haven't announced news for Fire TV. People aren't writing news stories about Apple TV or Chromecast, but
Yeah,
those are still relevant.
But like if we did a news search for PS4, it'd go bonkers. If we did it for, you know, oh, Ian's got some input. What's up, Ian?
I was just gonna say, as a game console, it was never ever relevant at all.
Right.
But as a TV,
True.
like as a Roku set-top box or a Chromecast, sure. But
Well,
that's not what you were talking about.
So
I mean, but that's what it is. Were you
Right.
literally you made the bet that
Kyle's
it's going to
just
be a
wrong.
relevant video game console? Because if so, why did you make that bet?
sometimes, so what happened was Damiani proposed the bet, and when Damiani proposes a bet, I can never turn it down, even if I don't believe in it. So
Okay.
Damiani said it's not going to be relevant. I agreed with him, but I'm like, I'll take that bet. I'll take you down. So, Ian, you are the official judge of GT time. What is your judgment?
You're dead in the water, baby. It's
Okay.
over.
The Amazon Fire TV is not relevant. You heard it here first, and as a result of that, I have to officially state that Bravely Default for 3DS has sold 80,000 copies and no more. And that is a fact.
Is this true, or you just have to let people know that?
That is what I have to say.
Oh man.
I'm proud of you, Kyle.
So there it is. Let's move on to another comment. This is from this is from Delcast. Actually, I like this question. Do you think there is a value in franchises and mascots today? I personally like things that end, but for publishers, it is clearly a much more appealing approach to have a more steady stream of known revenue. Should video games avoid franchises and iconic characters to provide more significant experiences?
Well, I think we just kind of covered that with Halo, right?
So the answer is no. They shouldn't abandon franchises. No, absolutely not.
Well, I don't know. Brandon says yes. Get rid of Master Chief. Isn't that what you're saying?
I don't say get rid of Master Chief. I say
Master Chief pays for the party.
Yeah.
Master Chief allows games like Ori and the Blind Forest to exist on Xbox One.
don't pretend the series is over when 3 happens. Don't have an ad that says finish the fight. You don't what? No, that's a lie. That was a lie. Finish the fight was a lie. Their whole advertising campaign was a hoodwink. That's what I don't like.
So,
Fools.
You know, I don't like the whole idea of like, oh, it's over. Oh, no, it's back. Oh, no, it's over. And we're gonna go through the same thing again.
was all a
Halo
dream.
6 is gonna happen. It's like, oh, it's all wrapped up. We're done. And then we get the Xbox fruitcake or whatever it's called, like whatever, you know, the next system, like
it's
whatever
not going to be
called.
fruitcake.
It is. It's gonna come in a thing. It's gonna have raisins in it, and it's gonna be a whole thing. But they, you know, and they're Halo 7. Oh, Halo 7! What a shock! You know, it's just that's what I don't like.
So I have
you
a
know?
question then, actually. Do you think it should be more like Marvel movies? Should we know probably 3 years in advance what games are going to come out?
Either that or don't pretend that you're not going to continue it. If we get an Uncharted 5, I'm going to be very disappointed. Uncharted 4 is called A Thief's End. You know, and they're really selling it. They're like, okay, we really love this franchise. We can't help but make an Uncharted for PS4 because, man, what a powerful console, and there's all these fun things we can do. But when we're done with this, we're moving on. We're going to do another franchise.
That'll be Sully.
And then later it's like, no, never mind, we're back. And it's like, I hate that. That really, that bugs me.
Yeah, I
Because then
think-
why am I excited? You know, like, I'm excited because you're ending it, so.
I
Like
think
Delcast said.
you have to decide, what you're doing, right? Because, like a Halo or something, it's like, obviously this is something they're going to keep doing and keep making constantly. Last of Us, I think you've told that story. It can stop there. Maybe you can tell another story in that world, but I think it would be really hard for it to be as impressive.
Well, I think Naughty Dog is in a unique position compared to a lot of other developers who are potentially working on these tentpole franchises, and saying that they worked on, one of the most iconic franchises for the PlayStation family of consoles, Uncharted, and then proved, hey, we can put out a new IP that nobody's heard of, that this is a standalone thing, and it's going to be the most awarded game of the year. Like, more accolades than any other game the year that it came out, right?
Yeah, Naughty Dog, by the way, also Crash Bandicoot and Jak and Daxter.
Yeah.
They're franchise makers, and then they're just like, okay, we're done with it. They'll ditch it.
Because
They're-
they've proven that they have a track record that they can make successful games,
Yeah.
Like in these franchises. And that's why, Sony said, we trust you to do this project that has nothing to do with anything you've ever done before. But how many other developers could do that? Obviously, Bungie has been able to do that with Destiny because they had Halo as a track record. But so few developers are in that unique position where they've worked on a tentpole successful franchise long enough that they can take those risks. But there's always needs to be a mix, because without that success to lay the foundation of financial security for these publishers, then they can't take those risks,
Yeah, you need both.
Yeah,
What was the line you opened with? Master Chief pays for the parties?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Master Chief pays for the party.
Master Chief pays for the
Yeah,
parties.
I think where the one that's kind of spiraled off and gotten it sort of wrong is Assassin's Creed, because it's like, okay, here you have this huge franchise, and you set it up with a story that felt like it was going to have an arc and a beginning and an end, and then at some point they're just like, we're just going to have to get rid of this because we don't know where it's going to go.
I mean, the original story in Assassin's Creed is still a little crazy, right? You got space wizards and this present day Abstergo stuff. But I will say that they've made a continuous arc using the present day Abstergo as like the thread that ties it all together. And if you guys are fans of Assassin's Creed and you haven't played Rogue, you should play Rogue because it ties up some stuff, and then the new games are going to tie into it even more. Even what I saw in Chronicles, the kind of standalone 2.5D games.
The China one, yeah?
Yeah, they tie into present day Abstergo as well, and I'm really interested to see where they go in Victory. I mean, I know they haven't really talked a lot about what's happening. I'm quite frankly not interested at all in this London story, but I want to see where they're going with present day, because that to me is still really exciting, and I know a lot of Assassin's Creed fans are excited about that, but I feel like they're making it smaller and smaller.
Yeah, that's
part of the gameplay every year, which is kind of, I don't like that choice.
An interesting thing about that series, I think, is that they don't even show the present day stuff in any of their trailers or in any of their E3
because it's
demos.
super top secret.
They barely
Yeah.
show the present day stuff in Unity.
You can't,
Yeah.
you can't talk about, when you go to these events and get the chance to actually talk to the people who work on the game, like PR has that on such lockdown, like they are not allowed to say anything about present day at all.
That's so strange, and that's the part you care most about.
For me personally, I
Yeah.
know that I'm not, I don't represent all Assassin's Creed fans, obviously, but I mean, that's the stuff that's most exciting to me. I mean, there's every once in a while we'll get an assassin who has a particularly unique story that I find interesting, but not all of them do. They're not all, Ezio.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I think the thing's gone off, because it's, it's like the first few games, it's like, yeah, it was a cliffhanger and all of that, and it like really, you wanted to see what was going to happen next, and now it's just like, yeah, you walk around the office, you see that thing, remember that thing that was a big deal? Yeah, she's just kind of hanging out in a computer now.
Before we move on, Ian, it sounded like you want to do a little side bet there. You say Sully's going to die in Uncharted 4?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
The thief pretending is
no.
Sully, not Drake.
Okay, so my theory is that Drake is simply retiring. I think he's gonna somebody's gonna chop off his legs or something. I think the thief's end is just Drake decides not to be a thief anymore.
Because Sully dies.
Are you willing to take that bet that Sully doesn't die?
Sully's gonna be dead. Never played an Uncharted game.
What?
Okay, so
Never? You've never played?
I played the train part of 2, and then I was like, these controls are weird.
so
Oh, man.
so Ian, if Sully dies, 1 month after the game comes out, I will write a eulogy for him on Twitter. So it'll be a 140 character eulogy for Sully. And I'll tweet it 1 month after the game comes out, so most people will say that's a spoiler and get really mad at
I
me.
don't know, 1 month doesn't seem long enough.
Yeah, that's the stakes.
Okay, what do I have to do if he doesn't die?
So then, God,
He has to dress up like Nathan Drake for a GT10.
Oh, that's cool. That's a
So
yeah.
what,
You
I
have
just
to.
put on like some.
No, like that's the
That's not
latest
even a
cosplay
costume.
ever.
Normal,
Come
doesn't
on,
it?
he wears like a shirt that's half tucked in
I'm
and
horrible
jeans.
at everything that has to do with pets. Coming up with
I'm
them,
wearing
winning
his
them.
costume right now.
No, you have to.
No, he has to marathon
You gotta stream,
Uncharted
yeah.
on live stream.
Full playthrough Friday
All
on
of it.
Uncharted.
That's a long full playthrough. Let's make him do 2 hours of
Or
Uncharted
I'll
4.
just play them.
2
one
hours?
of them.
That's nothing.
Okay.
You could force me to play Last of Us. That would be terrible.
Yeah, it wouldn't be. You would have such a great time if you just gave it a chance.
I gave it 7 hours.
That's a chance. Honestly, that is a chance. If you don't like something after 7 hours, you're probably not going to like it. So, Ian, you just tweet out that you really like Uncharted 4. You're not allowed to sound sarcastic. And included with that picture is you cosplaying as Nathan Drake. And you have to include at Naughty Dog at the end of
Here's
your
the
tweet.
thing. I like the Uncharted games. They're just not my style of game that I want to play.
Okay,
I like
so-
the look and the feel, and the story seems cool, and the characters are funny.
So your tweet says, "This is my style of game." Okay, we're gonna lock
Also,
that in.
Quick question
Yeah.
about Halo. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is Master Chief? He's still the same dude, right? Because
Yes.
Master Chief, to me, that's how you keep that mascot going without ruining story arcs. Is
You don't
it's
kill
It's a
him?
rank. No, you kill him. It's a rank. You
Oh, and then so
give the
Locke
rank of
becomes the
Like
new
Thor.
Master Chief.
You never see
Yeah.
his face. It's just a dude in a mask. Give some lady the rank of Master Chief.
Like
and
Thor,
keep
yeah,
the story
exactly,
going.
yeah. Okay.
They did that in Dead or Alive one time, right?
Yeah, there was a Lady Spartan. Why do you laugh? It worked out really well. It was cool.
It was just weird because it basically looked exactly like Master Chief, but it was. Oh no, it's not Master Chief. It's this.
Well, she was blue. She also had sticky grenades. Man, that was a cool character. And what was
Oh,
really
yeah.
funny is Bungie cared a lot about it, so they give her lots of lore and reason to be in the Dead or Alive universe. That was so silly. Loved it. Let's talk about bets. Last week's bet.
Switch the thing.
I'm trying. There it is. Okay. Time for bets. Technology. If we just had like an intern, there would be none of these issues. So please don't ask us to be an intern though, because oh my gosh. So let's talk about our bet this week. Dark Souls 2: Scholar of the First Sin releases on Tuesday. I'm gonna go to Amazon.com before next week's show, and I'm gonna click on best sellers in Xbox One games, consoles, and accessories. Where will Dark Souls 2: Scholar of the First Sin be? Now, we're doing something a little different this week. I actually felt guilty about owning Bloodworth last week. So now what we've done is we've all written down our bets before the show began, and now we're going to reveal them in a dramatic fashion. So, Bloodworth, it is your turn to reveal your bet in a dramatic fashion.
Dramatic. I don't
Yeah.
know how dramatic I can get. Here we go.
Well, you got to say it out loud for our listeners. Think about our
Oh, yeah.
listeners.
Okay. Well, I'm betting 17th place.
Okay, 17th place.
That's as high. I think probably as high as it'll go.
Okay.
There you go.
Brandon Jones, where do you think Dark Souls 2: Scholar of the First Sin will place?
33 is a lucky number that I think before, but I crossed it out because I actually went to Amazon and looked and was like, whoa, I don't think.
So now I'm going to ask you to think of the viewers.
I'm,
okay.
I'm going 55.
Oh, I see you changed
I
it.
changed it
Wow.
before, but I did before the show, so it still counts. 55.
No, I'm sorry. What made you change it? What was like?
30, I think 33 is too high.
So you were panicking on 33.
Yeah, as I do with every bet ever.
All right. Well, if you think 33 is too high, you're going to think my bet is crazy because I bet
Whoa.
the number 8.
Oh, wow.
I think it's going to sell very well. My theory is that I think that Bloodborne fever is catching on. So even on Xbox One, everybody's caring about Souls right now. It's in the zeitgeist. It's huge. Everyone cares about it. I don't know. I think it's going to be big. It's my
Even more
theory.
than the Easter Skylanders trap.
Even more exactly. Blood did his research is what that means. But
Yeah, there's Skylanders stuff in the top 20 for Xbox One.
Yeah, top sellers are weird on Amazon. Andrea, what's your bet?
I also, like Brandon, regretted my choice, so I crossed out my original choice, which was 28, and I changed it to 36.
Okay.
So I put it a little bit farther down because I noted when I looked, because I looked last night as well when she told me what we were betting on. I was like, what is on the Xbox One bestsellers right now? Number 1, ladies and gentlemen, an HDMI cable.
Yes.
So...
Dark Souls won't be number 1. It will be
Souls, there's Souls talk right now, but not as much as HDMI talk. Let me tell you.
And I noted that the
Those
only
cables are hot,
game
right?
from...
Right? HDMI cables, am I right,
Got
Blood?
6 of them a couple weeks
They're
ago.
important for your Xbox One.
Yeah.
The only game from 2015 that is in the top 20 is Battlefield Hardline. The rest are Call of Duty games and Skylanders toys. So.
I believe in Dark Souls. It'll
And
get there.
GTA.
Let me lock in those bets.
Oh yes, GTA for Xbox One. Yeah, sorry.
There we go. I had to make them official. No more changing. Everybody's locked in. I really so I love the drama that this created. I'm going to keep doing this where everyone writes them down ahead of time. That's fun. So let's talk about last week's bet. So we were talking about Forza Horizon 2 presents Fast and Furious, which released Friday last week.
Which I lost immediately.
Well, here's the thing.
I love recording a GT time, going to bed, like literally coming home and I'm just like, take care of everything, brush my teeth, and just like get all nestled in bed and just like, I'm going to check my phone one last time. Somebody's like, you lost. I'm like, great.
Brandon, I'm going to ask to prevent any more input because this one we need our judge Ian to come in again.
Oh, okay.
Here's the thing. The bet was phrased, what will the download size be? However, I was not aware at the time that this is also on Xbox 360. And so we have two different download sizes.
Ruh-roh.
On Xbox One, it is 15 gigs. And on Xbox 360, it is 2.2 gigs.
Oh my gosh.
So Ian, this is your choice. Which one do we go with? Do we go with an average? Do we just give a point to everyone but me for not phrasing the bet well? Or do we pick one or the other?
Can I hear what everyone
No. That's why I asked Brandon
says
not to say anything more.
I mean, I think in our hearts and minds we were thinking of the Xbox One version, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So I think we just use that one.
Okay.
Or you could subtract. You could do something weird where you like subtract 2, so it's 13, but that's dumb. Just do the Xbox One.
Okay, Judge Ian has issued his deliberation. We're going to go with the 15 gigs of the Xbox One version. And so that means... Oh, let me reveal what everybody's bets were. I should have done that. Well, I can't do that ahead of time because of Judge Ian. So anyway, last week's bets, Blood bet 10.4. Brandon Jones bet 2. You would have
been right on the money.
You would have been right on the money if we're talking about Xbox 360.
Sorry.
I bet
Living in the past.
10.5 to Hose Blood, and Elise bet 3.5 in the Super Seat. So that means that I win that bet the dirtiest way possible. Gotta admit, I don't feel good about that.
You've been hosed.
Bloody got hosed. So that brings our points. Super Seat has 4 points. Bloodworth has 5. Brandon Jones have 1. And I have a dirty 3. So what that means is I have the opportunity, everybody looks at the monitor again. I have the opportunity to promote any video I want on GameTrailers.com and close us out. I didn't even prepare a video that I want to promote.
I have one for you if you'd like.
Please, Andrea, yeah, we barely ever get you, so please, what should we promote?
Well, I just did a preview of Assassin's Creed Chronicles China, a game that I'm very excited about. It seems from other previews that I've read that other people are also excited about this game.
It looks cool, yeah.
Even if you guys are not Assassin's Creed fans, or if you maybe have a little franchise fatigue, I highly recommend checking it out. It's only $10. It's part of the Unity Season Pass if you bought that. I mean, and for the gameplay that you get, it's absolutely worth that price. So I'm really, really looking
When's
forward
it
to
coming?
playing it.
I forget. I've read the script and I
April
forget.
21st.
Oh, cool.
What makes your preview good, though? What makes this actual video really good?
All of the gameplay that you see is me playing. It's all direct feed.
Do you feel pressure when you're capturing a game?
Absolutely.
Yeah, me too.
All the time. And with a game like this, since it's a brand new game, it's not as much pressure. But if I'm playing, say, Dirty Bomb, which I played for another preview event that I went to, and it's a PC arena shooter, which I'm terrible at, then there's I ask the dev usually, hey, could you play a couple rounds for me so I can capture you playing instead of me playing?
But then on the other side, are there times where you do something awesome and you're like, yes, I got to write that down and that has to be in the video?
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a totally random question for the table that
Yes.
I bet no one will have an answer to.
Okay.
But I got one,
Okay.
which is why it's relevant to me.
Okay.
Andrea, do you remember the first game you ever played that was recorded? That you knew what I'm doing right now is going to be used for a video later?
Oh, man.
I know mine.
Brandon, start with yours.
Grand Theft Auto 3 for the PlayStation 2. Recorded on DV cam tape.
So were you sweating?
Back in 2001. I remember it was super weird. I remember I loaded up this point right by the hospital on the first island, and I turned right down the street, and all the other guys, my co-founder Jeff Grotz of GT, everybody was behind me don't screw up, Jones. It was this way before streaming and stuff, and it was just oh no, I have to really be good at this. Not just because people are watching me, but because we're wasting tape.
I actually remember mine. It was I worked on GTTV at the time. We were doing a segment that was the top 5 weirdest crazy games. And one of them was Muscle March on the Wii. This is a game where very sexual, muscular men are running around with each other.
And a panda.
And a panda. And you have to match their poses with the Wii remote. And I was stressed out on my mind. I think I was swearing at the TV. People were wondering, like, because I'm still Silent Kid at this time, like, what is this kid's deal? What is wrong with him? Should we help him? Like, no, nobody helped. And so I was capturing that game. Boy, it's hard. And so I found an exploit where if you hit start, you can change your pose, and then when you unstart, you're in that pose. So I like.
Which isn't good for capture, though.
It's not good for. It's awful for capture, but I felt so good for beating the game. Didn't get it. Yeah, Blood, do you remember yours, Andrea?
I think if it weren't for the stress that you were talking about, I probably wouldn't. But I do actually remember being stressed out, so I think I've got it. It's when Jeremy Hoffman hired me at G4 for Cheat. I think one of the first things I had to do was something for a Samurai Warriors game. I think it was 1 or 2, something like that on the 360. I'd never played any of those games before. I thought they should be really easy, but for some reason, it was just kicking my butt. And I was just stressing. I was like, I just got this job to play video games, and I can't play a video game right now. What the heck is going on? So yeah, I'm pretty sure that was it.
I don't have that same kind of experience that you guys do, because most of my experience playing games at events, I would come back and give preview code to one of my colleagues, namely Sohinki or Lasercorn. Sometimes we'd let Jovenshire do some capture, because we all used to work together previously at Mahalo Video Games and then at Clever Games, and now they, of course, are at Smosh Games. So I luckily didn't have to do much. I remember distinctly the first time I did capture that was going to be used was at the Call of Duty Ghosts multiplayer reveal event, which was, I think, in 2013?
Oh man, you have to be so pro to do that capture.
Oh my gosh, I got
Yeah.
crucified in the
Yeah.
comments, right? Because I'm nothing like a pro Call of Duty player. I was just doing it for fun, right? This is the first time they're showing it. It's brand new, but I'm sitting next to guys like T. Martin who's just crushing it. And I'm like, oh man, I feel like such a jerk face.
No Mahalo shout out, Ian? Not like Mahalo.
I worked at This Week In.
Yes,
Oh.
sister
Andrea,
company.
sister-
Oh, okay,
Same
sorry.
room, doing what I'm doing right now.
Ba-boom.
Operating a TriCaster.
Full circle.
Wait, that's weird. No, hold on. This is a strange connection to me.
You didn't know about this?
No, I knew you had a weird past. So what?
A
Gets
shadowy
weirder than
patch.
that.
Okay. So hold on. You worked in the same building with Ian?
We worked on several shows together.
She produced shows that I TD'd.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So what is this like right now for
This is-
both of you?
It's great.
Very
It's
uncomfortable.
like a walk down memory lane. Yeah, no, he
Back
would
in
TD the
the
show that I
business.
hosted, This Week in Video Games, that I hosted with Jessica Villarreal. And it was great. A lot of people think that, like, I haven't been working in this industry for that long, but it's been a while.
Did Ian
a
back
while.
then have a sense of authority?
No, unfortunately, because he had Jason Calacanis to deal with.
Uh-huh.
Do I dare say he's like Voldemort?
We could do a
Yeah,
whole
don't
podcast
say
on that
that name
guy.
Don't say his
We
name.
should say that for next
Worst
week, man.
human being
Apparently,
on the planet.
oh, really
Wow.
good stories with that. Really
Ian,
good
though,
stories.
hardest
Human
worker on the
trash.
team. Really great, super
thanks.
talented.
Yep.
So,
Matt Robb was there too.
Yep.
Wow.
No way. So
Yeah.
okay.
It's everybody.
I'm sorry. Before we can end the show, I need one story about Voldemort. Like, we need to know why this guy is
Oh,
called
I
Voldemort.
have
I refuse. I
have
can't.
a
I've blocked
couple-
him everywhere in my
I have a
life.
couple of great ones.
Give us one. Give us one to close out the show.
They're real quick.
You do
Give me-
realize this is going on the internet,
Yeah,
right?
it's fine.
Yeah.
He once quoted Glenn Ross to me, not realizing that Alec Baldwin's character is the bad guy, but he said to me, "You drove here in a Hyundai." I was like, "Honda, actually." And he goes, "I drove here in a Tesla." And then he like tapped my face and walked out.
Ooh.
And I should have just been
Oh.
like, "What?"
Oh God. The face slap.
you
That's
go.
that would have really made me
Voldemort
steam.
drives a Tesla.
No, weren't you the one who told me that you guys played a game? Was it Jason or was it Hitler?
The people that work there now play that game. I had nothing to do with
They
it.
like say quotes and like, was it Jason or was
Hard
it
to
Hitler?
tell.
It's apparently impossible to tell.
Thanks, guys. Everybody, thank you for sharing your stories. That's what makes a podcast to me. So yeah, the video to watch is the preview of
Assassin's Creed Chronicles China.
Awesome. And then also, thank you for watching, everybody. Our Twitter names are here. Andrea, what's your Twitter name? At
At
Andrea Renee?
Andrea Renee, yeah, one
Cool.
E on the end.
Okay. Daniel Bloodworth.
At D Bloodworth 2.
Brandon Jones is at
GameTrailers VO.
Still, he's committed to that.
For now, yeah.
Okay.
Well,
and
I mean,
I'm
he is the
at
voice.
Kyle Bossman. At one point, Brandon was like, I don't know, I don't like my Twitter name. I don't think it's professional and cool.
I was told at Dice that I have a bad Twitter name.
Wait, who said you have a
Who said
bad
that?
Twitter name?
Did I say
We were
that?
Dave Oshby. we were handing out stuff, and I was like, "What is it, Game Trailers Radio?" And then I like walked 10 feet from the table, and like he like told the table, he's like, "That's a horrible Twitter name," and I was like, "Oh." So I reserved one.
Dave, why did you say that?
So I know, and I've never really been the same since. So I reserved one that I like that
Man,
if I
we're
ever have
just-
to change it one day.
We're just dishing on people in this episode. We're all
Yeah.
gonna get flamed.
Who else can we throw
You
under
know,
the
you,
bus?
you don't have to reserve it. You can just change your Twitter handle.
Yeah, but we have. I mean, what we just did now, we put it on screen so people watch old episodes and they go to that, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to change the lower.
And my last name is Jones, so I don't get cool last names like Bosman, Renee, that I can actually like get my full name.
Yeah.
You know? Hate you guys.
Oh.
Yeah, you had to get into Twitter early, like we did.
Yeah, you had to get in there early.
I was way late.
I think I was in there.
2008.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got Bloodworth on the original Xbox when
Amazing.
Xbox Live first launched.
Nice.
Yeah, Bloodworth. Can I tell you, while we're talking about history, when I was watching you play a racing game, I thought that Bloodworth was the name of one of the characters in the racing game. It took me a really long time to realize that was your actual last name.
It's a great last name.
Yeah,
I'm jealous.
it's a really good last name. All right, everybody, thank you for watching this, for putting up with our weird stories, and we hope to see you again next week. Thank you. I love...